Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, depending wherever you're in the world watching. This is the Latvian American podcast, and we're just gonna look into the next few fights, and also you look up at the two cards that just recently took place. How you been, TJ? How you
Oh,
doing, my
I've
man?
been A-OK, my man. Living the dream. You know me. What about you?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, I just finally got my gi from London, so I can
Oh, I saw
finally
that.
start doing gi jiu-jitsu. So it's pretty nice. It felt like being in the sauna for the first time, like since
Oh.
March after first practice. Yeah, just
Mhm.
soaking. But yeah, it was pretty good, kind of getting those, training those grips again, and then just doing some striking as well. So it's just lots of happening in the fight world to talk about. So I think just dive straight into it. So first card we want to look at would be the Edgar Munoz card.
Edgar Munoz card. All right.
What do you think about the main event? Because that was a good fight. Yeah, you
Good
definitely
fight.
saw a lot of damage. That was one of those signature Frankie Edgar fights with his nose busted open, and
Yep.
he's probably has like I don't know what's his like total fight time, but he's had the most fight time in the UFC history. I think it's
Ever,
like
for
7 hours at least of octagon time. Because how many of these 25-minute classics he's had?
Dude, it is insane. He's actually my favorite. And it was like you said, it was close. I had it scored for Pedro. I actually didn't write notes on this because I was watching it live, but I remember having it 3-2 for Munoz, but I wasn't mad 3-2 for Edgar.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's
What
like
do you
Dana
think?
in the
How'd
past
you
said
score?
he's like almost everyone's favorite fighter. and but yeah, for this
He
one, I
beat
actually,
BJ Penn, man. Come on.
yeah, and then it's also you predicted Frankie to go over. I predicted Munoz to go over, but I actually scored it for Frankie. I think Frankie got a 3-2 in my opinion. I think he's
Good.
just gonna you could see the damage on the face. I think he was struggling with the leg kicks early on in the fight, but then eventually I think he picked up and was kind of landing the better combos. So, but yeah, it was a very close one. It just depends. It's a hard one to judge, really. So I think both
I'm
guys, no one really walked away from it, I think, as a loser. I think Pedro is still quite in the upper echelon. But it opens a lot of matchups for Frankie. I've been hearing Dominic Cruz could be one. So watch
oh
out.
my
Footwork Clinic.
oh my gosh, please. And first off, I'm glad to hear that someone that knows as much about MMA like you thought Frankie won, because obviously I'm a fan of Frankie. So if you think he wins, then obviously there's definitely scenarios possible where he did win, which is good. And like you said, there was no real loser, but Pedro is probably a little bit younger. I say probably because I actually don't know his age, but I do know Frankie's like 38. So
I think
him going
Pedro's
over.
around 30, 31. So he's still in his prime right now. So
So
he'll bounce back.
Frankie's 38. Let him get a couple of big fights. Let me get a little excited about him getting another belt. Leave me alone. Leave me alone, Pedro.
Yeah. And then is
Next one.
you want to move on to one of the next fights?
Yes, Mike Rodriguez defeats Marcin. I'm so bad at names.
Marcin Prachnio.
Yes,
Yes.
via first round TKO. Mike Rodriguez had really good kind of elbows off the Muay Thai plum and ended up
Oh,
flatlining
that
him.
was Anderson Silva's clinch work. Yeah, that's definitely. I would like to see him probably against another Muay Thai expert at some point in the fight. But yeah, he definitely put on clinic with those knees, elbows in the clinch. So looked really sharp with the striking.
Yeah, there was a lot of finishes. Yeah, in the main card of this one. Yeah, all of them were finishes. Then you had Joe
Joe
Select.
Selecki
Mm-hmm.
had that backpack rear naked choke, and he just made it look really slick, really easy. Yeah.
A standing. And one way that Dominic Cruz described it, and I love the way he did. He said he like climbed to his back, and he did. He did like kind of like start at the front and like weirdly get over. So it was very very interesting, and his boxing looked really good too. So he was winning that fight. I think
And
both sides of the coin.
And next one is again, it wouldn't be another card where we write someone completely off, but they end up proving us wrong, and it was Shayna
Oh,
Dobson
dude.
beating Agapoa. I think Agapoa came in like very confident, wanted to just get a quick finish, but she like realized that Shayna just put on a lot of pressure on her. I think Maria just wasn't able to handle that ground game, and then Dobson got hard fought victory.
Yeah, no, dude, that was an awesome fight. Another thing that I liked that whoever was announcing it said was that it was like a street fighting pace, and that's kind of what it was. Like they were both getting takedowns, but they were both like street fighting takedowns, not necessarily like MMA takedowns. You know what I mean? And they were going for like submission attempts. It was more like street fighting submission attempts. It wasn't like MMA ones, and they were
like
Agapova got tired, definitely tuckered herself out, and
still very early in her career. She'll probably bounce back, get stronger, learn from this. And speaking of street fights, I think this was one of my favorites of the last couple of weeks. It was Daniel Rodriguez and Dwight Grant. Now, talk about a brawl. That was a great brawl early on, and I thought Dwight Grant, there could have been a stoppage that reminded me of that Shane Carvin Brock Lesnar fight almost. But yeah, I mean, Rodriguez like never kind of still was aware the entire time, and then sadly for Dwight Grant, just got caught with a big strike, and Rodriguez with another victory.
You hit the nail right on the head with that one, man. All right. Then we got.
And then anything else on this card?
At the very least, we should just at least say that we'll see if anything pops out as what we remember. But Amanda Lemos defeats Mizuki Inoue via unanimous decision. Let me see. Nothing really popping out at me. Jordan Wright defeats Ike Villanueva via first round. Oh, TKO due to a cut. But he had he had some Muay Thai plums, son. But it kind of ended anticlimactic. Jordan Wright looked real good, though, I thought. Matthew Semmelsberger defeats Carlton Minus via unanimous decision. I liked it. Tevin Jones defeated Timur Valiev via second round TKO at a catchweight. Interesting.
Probably short notice. You beat a Chechen fighter. That's always a big achievement, no matter what. So
agreed. Oh yeah, I mean Valiev had some freaking hard body shots in the first round, but it was it was Tevin Jones eventually. That's all I got, brother. What about you?
We can, I think, move on to the next card. I had, I think this is the one where I got couple on you with especially the last two fights, actually. So Alexander Rakic is expected.
About time you got one up on me. Just kidding.
But Rakic beat Anthony Smith. I kind of saw it coming. I think Anthony Smith, like I said, he had that resurgence in his career, but I think some top contenders, young fighters like Rakic are now coming in, and I think he's not going to be at that top level anymore at light heavyweight. What do you think?
No, I think you hit the nail right on the head. With this one, he kind of beat him anywhere, sat him down beat him everywhere, kind of sat him down with some leg kicks, then was out grappling him really. And Smith's got a good ground game, and and even Smith said it. He was like, man, he just felt like he was in two different weight classes. So sounds like Smith's already kind of thinking about going back down to middleweight. But you definitely hit the nail right on the head with this one, and I'm excited to see
middleweight's stacked, but I think that's probably the best move for him. I don't think he's gonna really. Hasn't that much to do in light heavyweight apart from like maybe some exciting brawls or anything like that. So I think he might try to make one run at 185.
Yeah, well, he'd already be going down with a lot of momentum coming off of being a title challenger.
And it just popped in my head like Chris Weidman would make it happen. Interesting matchup, some two big established names.
That would be a good fight. I'm in. Match make.
And then also, I kind of saw it coming that Robbie Lawler was going to come off of a long ring rust. It had some ring rust on him. And I think, Neil Magny just has that pressure, has that grinding style, one of the busier fighters in the UFC. Definitely no ring rust there. And, it's just still keeps climbing up the ranks. I wouldn't be surprised one day he could be in like a title eliminator or maybe even get a title shot eventually one day. But, with Robbie, I think, he might still get a couple good fights in and maybe some like Legends League type of fights. But he's just when you reach those young peak fighters. If it's strong wrestling, it's gonna cause him problems.
Yeah, I think this is a tale of two stories. I think the first one with Robbie Lawler, I think this is the final nail on the coffin as far as I think now officially he won't be a title challenger again, because I think his last couple losses still were to, they were like Colby Covington and things like that. So I think this was kind of the final nail in the coffin. And as far as Neil Magny's concerned, I think you hit the nail right on the head. He normally doesn't get past the upper echelon of the guys, and this is the closest he's come. I'm not sure where Robbie still sits in there, but at one point we can all agree he was definitely upper echelon, obviously, as the champion. So we'll see, but you hit the nail right on the head with Neil Magny's victory there. I think I was picking with more of my heart because I love Robbie Lawler, but hopefully Neil Magny can shake some things up in the welterweight division.
I love Robbie Lawler. Yeah, hopefully he can deliver a couple exciting fights. Maybe some other veterans that are primarily strikers.
Yeah, I'd love to get another knockout. I'd love to see another knockout from him.
So, yeah, what else on in this card? You saw, like, Zach Cummings, Alex Caceres. They got wins, so 2 veterans still in the win column. Anything else on this card?
Yeah, so Alexa Grasso, I thought looked really good at flyweight. It was a good scrap, especially in the first round, but her striking was real strong, moving up a weight class. Ricardo Lamas versus Bill Algeo. Ricardo Lamas got the unanimous decision and I think retired, which good for him for retiring on top. But I actually thought Bill might have won that fight. If anything, I just thought that he's got some good potential. What else do you got? Let me see. I actually wrote down all the results, actually. So, boom, boom. Then you have Impa Kasanga defeats Maki Patola via unanimous decision. Trying to think of anything there. No, nothing too crazy. And then you said Zach Cummins looked real good. Dropped him in the last second of the round. Alex Harris for the first round. Rear naked choke looked really good. Sean Brady defeated Christian Aguilera via a second round guillotine. His guillotine was so interesting because he started it from half guard and then he had it from his back and then he had it back again on top. So he had it from like a bunch of different positions and it was nasty. And then Vienna.
Lots of submissions on the undercard, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Then you had Pauliana Vienna defeated Emily Whitmire via first round armbar. It was a slick armbar. If you watched, you just knew that she knew what she was doing. It was like the way that she was like snaking it and working her way in. It was fascinating. And then Mallory Martin kind of with the comeback, second round rear naked check over Hannah Cyphers, who I'm a fan of because she's always fighting. Cyphers kind of hit her with a big right hand in the first round and was really like good controlled flurry, but just didn't have it to finish it. And then Mallory eventually submitted her in the second round. So it was a good card. Both these cards were real good. A lot of finishes.
Yeah, it's a lot of fighters delivered. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, I have a lot more excitement for a lot more of these weight classes when you watch more of them. Once again, thank you for allowing me to do this because when I have to watch all of them, I'm like, gosh, I'm so excited for like the light heavyweight division, and I'm so excited for like the women's flyweight division.
Yeah, this definitely gives you better perspective of the landscape. And if you want to move up to the upcoming fight card, so you got Alistair Overeem fighting Augusto Sakai. I guess we can start at the bottom of the main card with the first one, the Thiago Moises fighting against Jalen Turner. And looking at Thiago Moises, just comes off of a submission win over Michael Johnson. So that's definitely a big name in the win column. Actually is 25 years old and still a young fighter. Really good grappling. It has lots of jiu-jitsu fights as I see on the grappling scene. But and I think he just has that experience. I think Jalen also has already had a lot of UFC fights, despite just having a 9-5 record. A lot of UFC fights, but yeah, I think Moises is the better fighter, and he's probably gonna sneak in submission.
Yeah, I see what you're looking at. Yeah, Jalen Turner. He's been in the UFC a little bit longer, but he's really intermixed wins and losses. Moises coming off of a freaking ankle lock over Michael Johnson. Goodness gracious, you don't see those very often.
Yeah,
So
Michael Johnson seems like he's had a lot of good fights, been a big name, but looking at he's at 19-16 record. That's like almost a 50-50 record. You would be surprised, and lots of submission losses. Seems like
dude, he's fought a
when he
lot.
gets to that top level, he just gets caught in these submissions.
Dude, he's fought a lot of good people. All right. Yeah, no. So who do you think? I like Thiago Moises in this one.
Yes, absolutely, going all the way with him. What do you think about the next one? Brian Kelleher, and you got Kevin Natividad.
Yeah, that's a freaking name, isn't it?
Oh, he's fighting out of Tempe, Arizona, actually. He's with the Arizona Combat Sports.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Let me look it up. Looking up Kevin real quick because I know Brian Kelleher. I'm a fan of him. He's coming off of a loss recently to he was a guy that moved up from bantamweight.
He lost to Cody Stammen recently by decision, but yeah, he had a couple of wins in his record before that as well. Also has been over Renan Barao in the past as well, Yuri Alcantara, so he's beaten big names. And yeah, it's a difficult one to predict. Well, AZ Combat Sports representative is 8-1. Seems like definitely a prospect on the rise.
Yeah, no, that it sounds like they're introducing Kevin for his UFC debut and giving him a pretty stiff test. So I'm not sure if they're trying to really get Kevin on the fast track or trying to make Brian Kelleher get back on the fast track with a good win over a good prospect. Both would be good storylines. Oh yeah, affiliation, Arizona Combat Sports. Let me see, I'm going with my gut. I think Brian Kelleher is going to take this one.
I gotta agree with him. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin's like one of the next upcoming prospects, but yeah, I think I'm going to go with Kelleher. Just has lots of finishes in the UFC already, so I think he's going to get it done.
That's how I think it does it for me too. I think it's his finishing capabilities in the decent guys he's finished, and then the even better guys that he's actually had good fights with, like Stammen and people like that who are ranked in a division. So yeah, no, I like him in that one.
Then you got Mikael Pereira and Zelim Imadayev in the next one. So another Dagestani Chechen fighter on the card. And seems like Imadayev doesn't have any wins in the UFC yet. He had an impressive start to his career beforehand. But Mikael Pereira has just
coming off of his loss to Diego Sanchez via DQ.
Yes. Yeah, I actually did not see that fight. Like, how did it go? I remember there was some controversy.
Michael Pereira was he just clearly was winning. He was just clearly winning, and then Diego, and the cool thing about this is, cool being just honesty. I love honesty. Cool being he pretty much admitted, like, I asked if I say he pretty much asked if I say that I'm hurt, do I win? And the ref, who I don't think is supposed to answer, answered and said yes. So Diego was like, I can't continue. And then he admitted later that was a smart veteran move. And that depends on what perspective you believe strongly towards. Because a good veteran move would be any means necessary to get the victory.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to say. There's like lots of different variables. Sometimes I know they go to a technical decision who basically was winning the fight until that point. So yeah, it's odd sometimes with them issuing the DQ or like the technical decision. I mean, if it's accidental, I think that's probably the better way to go.
Yeah. Or they should just always do just like a no contest or something. But yeah, they need a better system.
So, but I think Pereira, he's probably going to be still angry about it. So I think he's going to get it done on this one.
Yeah, I'm looking at Zelim. He got 2 fights in the UFC, both losses to good guys, Danny Roberts and Max Griffin. So no knock on that. But I'm thinking just kind of with the hype that Pereira's coming with, I think I'm leaning towards him in this one. But I'm all in for surprises if somebody wants to surprise me.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
next one seems like it's just we already talked through this one. I think it's just been moved over to this card. So are
Overeem
you still
Saki.
sticking with OSP?
Oh yeah. I'm still sticking with it. What are you?
Yeah. Same way, sticking with OSP. He's kind of coming off that heavyweight fight like we discussed and didn't look that bad at heavyweight even. So I think he's just fought who's who at 205. And I think many fields is just not at that experience level yet. So,
I think it'll be too
and
much.
moving on to the main event.
Oh,
So you got Alistair Overeem, you got Augusto Sakai, and what do you think about this one?
This is an interesting one, man. I don't know. I have a lot. I have some thoughts on this one. I'm thinking Overeem's like speed advantage is going to be like excessive. Sakai, I feel like is significantly slower. The thing that always bothers me with flipping Overeem is his chin. He gets finished a lot. Sakai's a big guy, hits hard. But man, if I'm going with trying to overlook the chin variable, I think Overeem's probably better on the feet. I think Sakai's probably bigger, and I think Overeem's probably better on the ground. So I like Overeem in this one. What do you think? What are you leaning towards?
Yes, I'm going all the way with Alistair Overeem, the veteran. I think he still has what it takes. I mean, he was winning rounds against Jairzinho until getting caught late in the fight and had finishes over Walt Harris, Alexei Olenek, Sergey Pavlovich. So, yeah, I think he still has enough in the tank. I think he will beat Sakai, who I don't think is at that level yet. But, yeah, I think Overeem might get one more high-profile fight after this. But, yeah, I think I'm kind of would question his chin if he moved to the higher level echelon of heavyweight.
I feel you, man. No, I like it. Yeah, no, I think we agreed on all those. Damn or lame. All right. And then next one, which you just broke my heart, but I still want to talk about it anyways. But you just said
that. You can run through it quickly, I think so. The fight card would be so we're on the same page about the main card, because I don't even know what the main card will be because of all these COVID changes on the fight card.
Brother, you throw
I was really looking forward to Glover and Thiago Santos. I was looking forward to like seeing how Thiago is going to bounce back after all those knee surgeries and that good fight he had against John Jones. And Glover has been kind of on the rise again, so maybe one more run. So I think it would have been a good fight. It's moved apparently later to October. They're just assuming Glover is going to get through COVID quickly and go from there. But yeah, and that's going to be an interesting fight. We'll definitely review that more in depth later. But I think the first fight on the main card is the Avila Eubanks fight.
Ooh, Eubanks versus Avila. Okay, I got you. I recently saw Avila fight. Coach, I really liked it. I think Eubanks is going to win this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes the other way. I think she might just be a little bit too much. What are you thinking?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Julia Villa, just primarily based on, she's had lots of finishes in her fights lately, just one loss in her record, and that's just over 2 years ago. So I think she's kind of more the fighter on the rise. I think she will get it done. Nice.
All right.
And then the next one, the short fuse, Ed Herman fighting against Mr. Rodriguez, again stepping up on short, quick turnaround fights. Yeah, it looks like it's only a couple of weeks in between fights.
Who Mr. Rodriguez? Mike Rodriguez?
Mike Rodriguez, he's fighting again.
Who just fought? What?
Yeah, he just fought Praknio, and then it's going to be interesting because I think Ed Herman's also got that good stand-up. He's also kind of good, can be good in the clinch. And yeah, I really like Ed Herman. He's just been such a veteran. So many people probably have written him off since that Ultimate Fighter Season 3, but he still keeps getting those wins and staying in there. He's very unlucky. Seems like his last 5 fights actually have been canceled. So he's probably been waiting for that big fight. But yeah, I think Rodriguez, I think really impressed with his Muay Thai. I think he's gonna get it done with a knockout.
You think Rodriguez is gonna get it done?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. I think Rodriguez is a little more on the rise, and I'm going with the quick turnaround. I always go with the quick turnarounds.
Yep.
That's
unless you're Bisping against Kelvin Gastelum.
unless you're Bisping, but not unless you're Bisping against Luke Rockhold.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one as well. And
next one.
Moving on to the next one, you got Alan Patrick, an exciting fighter fighting against Bobby Green, who didn't fight that long ago. Looked really good against Lando Wanada. What do you think about this one?
That is a good question. What do you think about this one? I'll get back to you.
Oh, I think Bobby Green, he just looked so good against Lando Wanada. Kind of had that rejuvenated look to him and kind of showed really good striking. And Patrick is a good striker as well. But again, we'll go for a quick turnaround. I think Green's just going to keep riding that momentum and beat Patrick and then hopefully move into that upper echelon, maybe get the big fight.
Yes, sir. I'm looking. I wanted you to go first so I could look up Alan Patrick real quick and go over some of the things and just make sure I knew what I knew in his losses recently. So, yeah, I'm with you. I liked what Bobby Green was looking like in his last fight. I think he's going to get it done. Boom goes the dynamite. All right, what's next? What's the next one?
Get Andrea Lee fighting Roxanne Modafferi, and yeah, it's an interesting one, that's for sure. Andrea Lee coming off of 2 losses, but both of them close split decisions. So yeah, and until then she was undefeated in the UFC. So definitely no shame in those losing in split decisions. The same with Roxanne Modafferi, such a MMA veteran in women's MMA, 24-17 record.
Oh my God.
But that also fought Who's Who and also kind of stopped the hype train of Macy Barber.
Yes, she did.
And fought Jennifer Maya, and then also has been over Antonina Shevchenko. It's such a tough one. Seems like she gets one win in, then loses the next one. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, honestly, if you look at Roxanne's record, it actually is exactly that. Since that was an exhibition bout. So yeah, since 2017, it's win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. So they have a common opponent, which is Lauren Murphy. It looks like Andrea Lee, like you said, kind of had a split decision defeat to her. And I'm leaning towards.
The other one was also a close one. It was 20 ununanimous, but I remember it was a close fight as well.
Oh, then that kind of takes it away from me. I'm leaning towards Andrea Lee in this one. I'm thinking she's going to be a little bit better than Roxanne in this one.
Yeah, I think Roxanne just has so many miles on her. I think in the fighting in her career, I think I'm also going to go for Andrea Lee on this one.
Yeah. That's 24
and then moving on to the main event, you got Karate Hottie herself, Michelle Waterson, going up against Angela Hill. Yeah, and this was also a really, really close one. I'm kind of looking through some of the odds, some of the polls on MMA forums. I think it's literally a 50-50 coin toss on this one.
Gosh.
And
it's a
hard one to predict.
What's up?
Yeah, it's a hard one for pick for sure.
Yeah, I've been bouncing around a couple ideas on this one. Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. Whenever I want to say someone's name to pick them, I stop myself because I'm like, do you want to pick this person?
Yeah, it's same way. I think I just seen Michelle fight so much more than Angela, and but it seems like Michelle she's kind of undersized in the weight class a little bit, and she has some big wins, but again, like in those very top fights, like against Tug Rose and Joanna Jacek, she just comes up a little bit close.
Yeah, she's coming off of a split decision loss to Claudia Gadelha, and I actually thought that she won that fight.
And then Morrison's coming off of a split decision loss to Carla Esparza too. So. You know what? I'm just gonna go with Michelle Morrison.
I'm going to make it interesting.
One of my favorite female fighter on the roster.
Oh, nice. I'm gonna make it fun, brother. We're going with Angela Hill, man. I think Angela Hill's gonna get this done. I think it's her time.
All right. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting one for sure.
Yes, I think so. I'm actually really excited for this fight.
Yeah, definitely looking back at the records, probably gonna have to rewatch a couple of those fights again to just kind of see and get more hyped. I think kind of have to buy into this main event since Glover and Thiago Santos fell through. And what else you got in MMA news? Yeah, you got I think Brock Lesnar, one of the news is his contract with WWE is up, so he's a free agent. So there's been call-outs that he might fight John Jones. Yet I don't know whether I even want to see that one. I think I'm more excited than the Lesnar-Fedor fight on Bellator. I think that would be a little bit more interesting matchup in my eyes.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine? I don't think there's any way he would do Bellator though.
Oh, 10 years too late.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to come back. I don't really care for the talks. I just want to see. I want to see John. Well, it depends on the situation. Because if you're telling me, in a perfect world, we get Stipe and Ngannou's second fight, and then we get John Jones versus Stipe. And if John Jones wins, which he probably will, he gets the title shot. Because that's a perfect scenario. That's where it works. What I don't want is like,
I think you might want to see one fight at heavyweight before him. Obviously, it's a super fight, but everyone's been talking about for years and years about him moving to heavyweight. I kind of want to see one tune-up fight.
And if they want to see
it, we talked about Frankie Edgar going down the weight class too late. I think John Jones might be making this move up a little too late in his career. I think he could have moved up slightly earlier in his career as well. But it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out for sure.
It will be. But I'm with you. I think he should have tried to do this earlier on. What else?
What else? You got the Nate Diaz fighting potentially again against Jorge Masvidal. So yeah, I mean it would be a fun fight, but yeah, I don't see like a reason booking it behind it. I don't know, maybe they want to start doing the title defenses on the DMF title or something like
that. That's where you get me. I don't think he can fight Kamaru and have it not be on the line, and then fight Nate and then have it be on the line. They gotta I don't know. But I'm not. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in it. I think Diaz is pretty certain that he thought the tide was turning and he prepared for 10 more minutes.
What else interesting happened at Bellator? I think Vadim Nemkov beat Ryan Bader, which is also quite a bit of an upset. But yeah, Nemkov was on the rise. He had defeated Phil Davis, a young fighter, Fedor's protege. And yeah, just landed that big head kick on Ryan Bader. And I mean, Bader still has his heavyweight title, but yeah, I think it kind of answers the question that, yeah, Ryan Bader tried to make a claim that since Jones has moved up to heavyweight, he's the best 205er in the world, even in the UFC. But I think just that kind of got the answer. But yeah, Vadim Nemkov, I think I'd like to see him in the UFC. He's definitely has wins over big names at that Bellator. Who's who in Bellator?
Yeah, no, anyone that can knock out. We were just talking about whoever can knock out who he knocked out. I forgot the name. I would always Ryan Bader. I would love to see him in the UFC, like you said.
Yeah, I think saw Roy Nelson fought Valentin Moldavsky as well, and I think if Roy I think also needs to hang it up for his own sake. 23-19 record right now in his career. Yeah, he's just that he has still, I mean, that right hand, but I mean, he's mostly almost like a punching bag in these fights lately, and just kind of hard to watch.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm just super excited for, man? It is that Colby Covington versus Tyron Woodley fight, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be an interesting one. We'll see whether Woodley might still have what it takes to come back after those 2 consecutive losses.
I'll tell you what. I was very confident in Tyron Woodley against Colby Covington before that Gilbert Burns fight. I was very confident, and now I'm even more confident in Colby Covington after his fight with Kamaru Usman. So, man,
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it, and I like a little bad blood every now and then. I love, man, but I'm a little dark, man. I got a little lot of it, let some of it out.
Looking at some again, kind of previewing Bellator. That's actually on September 11th. You got Phil Davis and Lyoto Machida rematching.
Ooh,
which is also a bit of an interesting one. Yeah, it's just kind of when I remember them fighting back in the day as well and now they're rematching. It will be kind of interesting to see this one because at that time I think Davis was kind of the rising prospect still in the picture, and now they're kind of both veterans, and Machida is still around there, and Lyoto, yeah, it's just and had a close fight with Gegard Mousasi, and the impressive win over Chael Sonnen. So, I mean, I don't know. Bellator's been really interesting lately. A lot of fights are just going. You can't really predict what stage in the career these guys are in.
Oh my gosh, that's probably the best way to describe it. You don't know what stage. That's my ultimate variable when going into a fight that people don't get. It's like, who do you bet on? It's like, gosh, that depends, and it always depends, and it sounds like a cliche, but which one shows up? There's no guarantee that this one in front of me is going to be in the same mental state as the one that knocked out this guy or the one that knocked out this guy.
But if we look at it, I think I'm going to go with Phil Davis. Just trying to remember him and Vadim Nemkov. That was his big fight that earned him the title shot. It was actually a close split decision. So, yeah, I think he definitely had a closer fight than Ryan Bader did against Nemkov. And Machida, yeah, I think he's just has so many fights in him. I think he's going to struggle with Davis's wrestling in this one. So I think I would go for Phil Davis.
I agree, brother. All right, brother. I got to start getting ready for work, champ.
Alrighty. I mean, it's definitely a good one. Got to talk some MMA news this time which is kind of, I think, what we also should do, and some of the upcoming show episodes as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll sprinkle it in, brother. Yeah, no, I agree though. This is a good one, brother. Look at us talk to ourselves. I hope the people liked it too. I know they did. I feel confident that they did. All right, champ.
Alrighty.
You signing off?
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks, DJ. My pleasure. We'll just keep giving shows, and then hopefully we'll see some good fights this weekend.
My pleasure, brother. The Latvian versus the American. The main event.